It's that time of year again. Most of the seasons are over now. Sitting around by the fire seems like a pretty good idea. Well, this is about the time of year I start thinking about the upcoming season and what I'm going to be hunting. On a recent trip, I had a gentleman ask me to put together a video that would show, kind of in a quick sense, how to set up F.O.C. Well, the fastest and easiest way to set up weight forward is to start with the lightest shaft that you can find in a suitable size. At a little over 5 grains per inch, this Rest in Peace Extreme Velocity is a good starting point for a 50 to 55 pound recurve. Now remember, in this example, I'm going to be building more mass weight, and then at the same time we will work on the F.O.C, which is forward of center weight. So we're starting with the Victory Shaft carbon trad to match our trad bow with the wood grain. Once we've established which shaft we want to use, what we want to do is reduce as much weight on the rear end of the shaft before we start building our weight forward. Let's investigate what some of these different products weigh that a traditional bow hunter might want to have on his shaft to dress it up. It may surprise some people to see just how much difference there is in the weight of different nocks. For example, black needs a lot more dye, so it will always be the heaviest, even in the same type of nock. Clearly then, we can take almost half the weight off of the back just by changing the nock we select. Many of us like to put a wrap on our arrow as well, but look what it adds to the back end of your arrow. Again, from a traditional sense, most of us started with 5-inch feathers. You can see the weight is 9.4 on 3 5-inch feathers. Conversely, if we add 4 2-inch feathers, we come up with only 5.5. So to sum it all up, if we go traditional completely, we're looking at 33.1 grains on the rear end of the shaft. By using some of modern technology, we can reduce the weight all the way down to 12.2 grains on the rear end rather than our 33. Almost 2/3 lighter. So remember, the basic idea when building weight forward is to take weight off of the back end, transfer that weight to the front of the arrow shaft. That's what will give you maximum penetration. Well, now that we've looked at the back end of the arrow and what different things weigh and how we can take weight off of the back end and transfer that into the front, we're going to get started on that front end right now. This is a system I used up until about 2 years ago, and you can see all the components that are necessary. I've got my broadhead, I've got the insert, I've got a collar to strengthen, I've got 2 different weights which have to be ordered separately, and then 100 grain weight back here that's brass. So I had a total of 6 pieces. The idea here was to come up with 450 grains. With the new system that Ethic Archery has come up with, you can see we've eliminated half of the pieces. This is going to mean 2 different things. Number one, you don't have to order from 4 different outfits to set up your arrow. Number two, the number of components, just by reducing them, makes a more consistent weight. Let's take a look at the overall length and how much weight was forward in these 2 different cases. Now with the 2 systems together, you can see that we definitely have more weight forward on the top one with the internal parts being from Epic Archery versus numerous components from different manufacturers on the bottom. Again, look at the difference in where the weight forward is, both being 450 grains. This system is consistently accurate. 8 of the 12 came out between 451.9 and 451.7. As I bump the table, you can see it moving. Sorry about that. Obviously, at some stage we need to start shooting the bow. In this case, what we see is quite a long tear. What we want to do is cut some more off of this shaft in order to increase the spine of the arrow. As we continue to cut the shaft off, the tear left and right continues to decrease. What we want is one small bullet hole. For more on tuning your bare shaft, take a look at our video in the link below. Once you've got a bullet hole like this, no tear left or right, up or down, you're ready to put your broadheads on. As you can see, the broadheads fly true even though there is no fletching on the shaft at this point. Jumping ahead to a completed arrow with the 125 grains in the front, more or less traditional, and 3 4-inch feathers in the back, no wrapping. We'll find the balance point right here where I've marked the arrow. Although not scientific, it'll do for the purpose of this demonstration. The next example has 4 2-inch feathers, no wrap. On the front, we've got a 225 grain broadhead. This balance point has been marked on the arrow with 225 grain broadhead tip, a total of 450 grains in the front. Comparing the two shafts simultaneously gives you quite a visual picture. For another visual, here we have marked the point of balance on the 3-fletch traditional with 125. On this arrow, 4-fletch 2 inches, the point of balance. On the traditional arrow, the point of balance is at 10 inches. On our forward of center, it's clear up here at 6. Okay, from roughly the center of the shaft, this is how much weight forward we've got. Approximately 2 inches weight forward on the traditionally made shaft. Perhaps even more astounding is the difference we see here with a wood shaft, 5-inch feathers, 125 grain tip in the front versus a carbon arrow 204 with 450 grains front of center right here. Here's the balance point of the wood. Here's the balance point of the carbon shaft. Equally astounding is the weight of the shaft. The wood shaft is 589 grains. Its calculated weight forward is 11.94. On the other hand, the carbon shaft has a total weight of 754 grains with a calculated weight forward of 29.46%. So remember, the basic idea when building weight forward is to take weight off of the back end, transfer that weight to the front of the arrow shaft. That's what'll give you maximum penetration. Check online for a calculator to see what your arrows are running. We've added a link below. That about wraps it up for us. Until next time, take care and God bless.